Hey y'all, it is Kayla with Tactical Response, back with a long-awaited, just another Medical Monday, or whatever day it's released on your platform. Like I said last week, I have taken a sabbatical. I'm back to doing jail nursing full-time and the teaching and tactical response things part-time. Something that has come up consistently in jail nursing is addiction. Thought that this would be like one of the really good ways to get back into doing more videos is to review a Narcan class that I took. It was kind of laughing a little bit like, hey, I've never even taken a Narcan class. I'm a nurse, I'm trained, like I know how to use it. Like, what is this class going to teach me? And I showed up like we ask you guys to do, with an open mind, and it lands in the top 5 classes I've ever taken. The class focused on Narcan for all of about 2 seconds. Real quick, just in case you don't know, the Narcan 4 milligram or 8 milligram little nose sprays, like if somebody looks like they are showing signs of overdosing, like they have respiratory depression, their breathing rate is super low, shallow, pulse is 30, Narcan's not gonna hurt them if they don't need it, but they will respond if it's something that's gonna fix them. Those are the down and dirties about Narcan that you need to know. Like, as soon as they lose a pulse, you have to start CPR, and when you give breaths, that Narcan will get in there and it blocks opioid receptors and fills them so that like it immediately sends you into detox. The class itself was focused on compassion surrounding addicts. When we grew up in school, like the DARE program and the drug programs, all they talked about was how drugs were bad. They're really, really fun to use, but they're bad. And they never really went into the why. And something that I have learned in nursing is I've never met an addict without a trauma, like a significant one at that. And the lifestyle is absolutely terrifying. I don't think if people knew that that's where they were going to end up, that they would choose it. And I'm not saying to not have positive boundaries, like separating yourself from the addicts that you love and care about in your life, but meeting them where they're at and showing them compassion. And you are looking at it as like this is a disease and not a choice. Because after the first use, it's never a choice again for anyone. Being in nursing, you have to ask uncomfortable questions. Years ago, I used to be uncomfortable talking about pooping, and now it's like a daily conversation. We make jokes about poop all the time. So you have to get used to talking about uncomfortable things. And one of the ways that I do that, I say one of the ways, the only way that I do that is I kind of use humor. And a question that I would ask people, especially people who used methamphetamines, why meth? Like, I can see the normal trajectory, how people get from like good upstanding citizens, and then they have a surgery, and then they slip into like being addicted to pain pills, and then their doctor stops prescribing them, so they move into heroin. I can see like how cocaine in the 90s was celebrated on TV, like all of these other drugs. Like, meth is terrifying though. Like, how do you get to meth? One guy told me the first time he ever smoked meth, he was 13 years old, and it was because his mom needed somebody to get high with. And it completely changed my outlook surrounding addiction. And I know that not every single addict out there like was forced into the decisions that led them there. My personal goal to treat everybody as though they are struggling because of the most compassionate reason possible. And not only does that do something really good for them, that does something really good for me. It makes me manage my expectations correctly. Like, it truly takes you to a place of you're only helping because it's the right thing to do, not because you're expecting something in return. And that doesn't just stop with addicts. I assign the most compassionate reason possible behind everything in my life now. If somebody cuts me off in traffic, like, I just tell myself, hey, they cut me off in traffic because either A, they're having a bad day, or they may be trying to get to the emergency room to find their like family member, or something bad happened to cause that. Like, I do not automatically assign malicious intent. And I started that process of being able to not assign malicious intent with addiction at the core. When I've realized that I could switch over my thought process and how I treated people based on my own expectations, then I was able to shift and do that in all of my life. So now All of the addicts that I come into contact with are met with much more compassion, and it gives them hope. Like, I might be the reason or the person that they need that actually gets them sober or gets them the help that they need to be sober. And if not, I did everything I could, and I still feel like a better person at the end of the day. And then as far as the rest of my life goes, it just makes it so much better when you're not constantly like holding negative feelings towards people, and it just improves your life in general. Like we said in the last videos that we did, mental health is still health. Take care of yourself, be compassionate towards everyone, and remember that addiction is a disease and not a choice. Remember, guys, your responsibility to be ready for the fight never ends.